just legal obligation. It's a now moral responsibility and the business sense also. As we have seen, the Gen Z culture is there. So when we talk about this, so one common factor is coming out that everybody wants to work on their own terms. Even if a junior person is there, he or she wants that something should be listened, and they want to work in dignity, not the hierarchical process of earlier that you have to respect senior and you have to listen to them and you have to execute. People want to discuss and they want to tell that this is my opinion, you have to listen to this. And friends, this is happening. Now AI has come. So earlier I was very smart, very intelligent, 10 years, 20 years experience. And Harmeet is also knowing something, but a new generation boy or girl is coming and she's saying, what you know more than me, I can discuss and argue on any topic. I may be knowing 10 case law, they can search faster and bring out 3 relevant case law than us. So things is changing. So same thing is happening with the work culture also. And I told you, the earlier we were talking about the safety, that everybody should be safe. Safety has a 2-3 connotation, that safety, the environment should be safe. But the safety connected to dignity is also very important, that what I am doing, nobody should do anything without my, if somebody is giving work to me and I don't want to do this, or somebody is talking to me in a rudely manner, that is also coming in dignity. I'm not talking about something which is there in the posh law. People are interested that somebody, my boss should be my mentor, not my dictator. And everybody wants equality. This is the thing. Now, in this process, Government of India they have initiated the CBOX. The meaning is Sexual Harassment Electronic Box. That is a full form of CBOX. Initiative provides a centralized digital platform for registering and monitoring complaints of sexual harassment at the workplace and ensuring timely redressal and accountability. I remember in 2001, I launched a website of capital market, and where we have launched a complaint model of shareholders. So all the shareholders, any issues there, you can feed in that portal, and then it was connected to the various companies, and that can go to the company and they can immediately reply. So this is a same version, but relating to these complaints of sexual harassment. And this is a very good step and very nice efforts, that in place of talking in a fragmented way, we are just working out at a central place. So today's webinar, what we are aiming today, that we can provide a comprehensive understanding of the CBOX concept. What is this mechanism? How it is relevant within the framework of workplace safety. Participant will gain insight into how CBOX internal complaint mechanism works under this POSH law, and how the organization and individual can effectively use and utilize this particular platform for faster, safer, and more inclusive work environment. So this is two-way. This is a simplification also. This is a complaint process also. And this is a fear factor also, that now the complaint will not, like in SEBI, you have a score. So anybody has any complaint, they can file. Until the complaint is solved, the complaint will be there, and you have to solve, and the SEBI and stock exchange will ask you what happened to this. So you cannot do something hanky-panky that I have solved the problem, 50% you have solved and remaining thing you have not solved. So this is basically a new complaint model for this particular aspects. Today we want to discuss on various issues. One is understanding CBOX concept, how CBOX works, CBOX person internal complaint committee, employer's responsibility, best practices for the organization, practical challenge and case-based insight, that how it is happening and what is changes going on. So these all points we'll discuss, and we have received various questions and we have created various questions on different topics and different aspects. And we all will discuss these issues. And for this, we have invited very learned panelists for today's program. So I welcome first Ms. Alka Tiwari. She's seasoned people development specialist and HR consultant with 30 years of corporate experience and IIM Calcutta alumni. She is the founder of Talent Reward, Talent Revived, focusing on leadership development and behavioral training. She has held senior position including EVP and HR, head of 3i Infotech, with expertise in performance management, organizational development, and talent strategy. A certified facilitator for global leadership program and psychometric tools. She is also actively involved in social initiative, empowering rural girls through education and skill building. She is recipient of multiple leadership achievement awards, and I welcome Madam for this program. And your experience will definitely helpful to all of us to get a new idea and the actual things, because sometimes law is there, and in India, despite of strict law, we have not controlled this particular disease in the workplace and in the society. So I hope that your experience will guide us and help us, and people will also get benefited by her experience. Then we have Mr. GP Madan, is a founder, managing partner, Madan Law. He's just joining. He has one case. So he has over 3 decades of experience in corporate legal advisory, litigation, governance, and capital market and insolvency. He has served as chairman of NIRC of ICSI, co-chair of ASSOCHAM's National Council of M&A, and is associated with the NCLT and IBC Committee of PSD. Madan is no doubt odd man out amongst all female speaker. Madan will speak about the case, some case studies. So we will get his experience, his discussion, and he has attended various programs and he has conducted various programs. So his point of view and his case study will definitely give new dimension. So I welcome Madan in his absence. Then we have Ms. Harmeet Kaur. She is an accomplished insolvency professional, company secretary, lawyer, independent director with over 18 years of experience in corporate governance, insolvency law, and compliance management. She is a partner at RRR Insolvency Services, expert LLP, and teaching faculty with Institute of Company Secretaries, a certified POSH trainer and advocate for gender equality. She actively promotes workplace safety through awareness initiative. Her expertise span legal drafting, restructuring, risk management, corporate advisory. She also serves as a life coach and meditator, combining professional excellence with a strong commitment to ethical practice and social impact. I welcome Harmeet, madam, and seeing your expertise in multiple things, it's really a message to everybody that if you are a professional, then you can work in so many dimensions. So your versatile profile is really helpful to understand things. So now next is Ms. Jyoti Grover. She's former chairperson, local committee, Gurgaon, POSH, and partner council Quest. She emphasized several critical aspects concerning the effective implementation of POSH Act. She underscored the importance of strictly following Supreme Court judgments. Nothing that these rulings provides essential clarity and direction to institution on ensuring proper compliances. I welcome Jyoti, madam. You have come to our program. I welcome you for this, and your last time you have spoken very well and very important aspects we have discussed. Now come to our another speaker, and today's our opening batsman, opening batter. Okay, Miss Tunika Sharma. She is legal counsel with the Capacity Building Cell at NCW, Ministry of Women and Child Development, a gold medalist in LLM. She has over 5 years experience in women-centric legal advocacy, policy implementation, and capacity building. She has handled complaints from across India, including sensitive and SOS cases, conducted matrimonial counseling, fact-finding visits, inspection of shelter home, and sunwise. She is a recognized POSH trainer and a resource person, having conducted extensive training for government bodies and institutions and corporates, and contributed to NCW's Power of POSH booklet and her legal guide app. So now you have seen this. This particular panel is a vibrant, working in so many areas, and they are not just reading and doing work in the court. They are working on the floor also, and they are doing work at different places where they are getting experience. And recently, I was reading one article in the newspaper, and it was on a shelter, the night shelter, which is government shelter. And that story which I was seeing, there was some interview of the ladies there. They were saying, we are in the shelter, but we can't sleep in the night, because anytime anybody can come and touch us. It was very, very touchy story, and it shows that if you are poor, it is not that you are starved with the food, but some other things are also taking place. So when you people are working in these area, it is really a good message to all, that what they are speaking, it is not on the law, it is not on the some interpretation. They are saying something which is actually they are facing. So with these things, this is our today's panel, and we'll do. And today's program structure will be like this. After me, Madam Tunika Sharma will speak about SheBox overview and functionality. She will give presentation, and then we will have 1 hour expert panel discussion. We have prepared around 40-50 questions. Some questions we have already received through email. Some questions we'll receive this way. And each and every chapter we have divided. We will ask questions from the panelists, and they will give reply. So I'll ask questions from one person, but anybody wants to add something new, they can raise your point, and then I can take up. And after that, Mr. Madan will take up 4 or 5 case studies on this particular concept, and then we'll have a question answer session, which are remaining and which are coming directly here. And then we will do the conclusion of this. Friends, this before handing over to Tunika Madam, I'm just informing that every week we are doing our webinar, and Friday 4 to 6 is our now signature programs which we are doing. So next webinar on 17th April, we are doing on the IBC amendment, because IBC amendment has come. So many changes has come. So 260th webinar will be held on IBC Amendment Act on 17th April, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So now this program, I will request Tunika Madam to give her presentation and tell us, because you are working in the this Ministry of Government Department, government there, your legal counsel, you know things, you know legal part, you know the practical part when you are receiving complaint. So this concept of SheBox, how it is works, what are the things, how this is conflicting with the committee, internal committee, how the complaints are moving, what way the people can file. All these points we will discuss with you. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening to all the distinguished panelists also. So to start with, I would request the team to kindly share the presentation. We will be discussing in brief what SheBox is all about, how to file a complaint on SheBox, and how it functions. So today we are going to start the topic, and the name of the topic is Bridging the Gap in Workplace Safety, Understanding SheBox, a digital step towards safer workplaces. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so before understanding what SheBox is and how it came into existence, I just want to highlight some major provisions of the POSH Act. POSH Act is the acronym of Prevention of Women from Sexual Harassment Act. So I just want to highlight some major sections of POSH Act. So Section 4 of POSH Act says it talks about internal committees. So when we talk about internal committees, these are the committees which are in existence in any organization which has more than 10 employees, irrespective of the gender. Even if an organization has 10 male employees, it is important that internal committee is constituted there in case of any act of sexual harassment happens there. So that can be reported to internal committee. Now we talk about Section 6, which says local committee. So local committee is constituted by a district officer and who is basically the DM, and it is headed over by a district magistrate, and the local committee is constituted in the places where there is no IC, which means that an organization which has less than 10 employees, or it is constituted for the women who are working in unorganized sector, like who are working in a beauty parlor or who are working on the roads or who are working as a mason. So they can go to local committee to file a complaint. And the third scenario where a local committee is made, the reason behind that is when the complaint is against the employer of the company itself. In that case also, the sexual harassment complaint is filed before the local committee. Now, the next provision of POSH Act, which is, I would say, the most important section of POSH Act, is Section 9, which talks about the complaint mechanism, which highlights the important timelines, like in how many days the complaint should be filed, what extension has been given where sexual harassment complaint can be filed, and how the complaint should be filed, before whom it should be filed. So it is mentioned over there in the Act that the complaint of sexual harassment can be filed within a period of 3 months. However, an exception is provided to that, wherein an additional period of 3 months has also been given. So if the internal committee or the local committee is of the view that yes, sexual harassment has happened with this girl and she was unable to report it within a period of 3 months of the Act, then that can be taken up in later phase of 3 months also. Now it talks about how many days the inquiry should be conducted. So any inquiry in a matter of sexual harassment should be completed within a period of 90 days. And within 10 days, the inquiry report should be submitted. So which is enshrined under Section 13. Now Section 14 also talks about false complaints. Whenever a complaint is filed before the internal committee or the local committee, sometimes there is a chance or it turns out that the complaint is false. In that case also, and action can be initiated against the complainant, which will depend upon like the service rules or whatever the internal committee or local committee feels that should be levied upon. So can we move to the next slide? So when we talk about the POSH Act, so the ultimate breakthrough happened in the POSH implementation when and I would say an important case of Aureliano Fernandez versus State of Goa and others came into light in the year 2024, in which Honorable Supreme Court mentioned that there is a need to have a dual mandate of POSH Act. First of all, it should ensure redressal of workplace sexual harassment complaints, and also POSH Act should provide a single window where the complaints of sexual harassment can be reported by any woman, whether she's from organized sector, she's from unorganized sector, she's from private sector or public sector. Can we move to the next slide? So when this case came into light in the year 2024, so certain directives were given by Supreme Court, which were as follows. The first directive was that there should be district magistrate, district officers, who should be equivalent to the post of district magistrate or collectors, who should oversee the implementation of POSH Act in their respective states and in their respective districts. Also, it was said that it is very important and mandatory to constitute local committees in all the districts. Also, it was said that it is mandatory to constitute internal committees in all the organizations and departments where are more than 10 employees. Other than that, the major decision which was taken under that was that a nodal officer has also to be appointed at each district level who will be taking care of the sexual harassment complaints. Can we move to the next slide, please? So when, as sir mentioned, that SHE-Box stands for Sexual Harassment Electronic Box. So basically, it is an electronic box which was initially launched in 2017, and it was found that it had many lacuna. So it was relaunched in 2024 by Ministry of Women and Child Development, wherein it was made out that it acts as a bridge between the complainant, like a lady who has been subjected to sexual harassment. She can come and file a complaint over SHE-Box portal, and it will be directed to the respective internal committee or the local committee to whom the matter pertains. Also, it is a single window access, as we discussed, that any women who is of the age of 18 years, even also college students, can file a complaint of sexual harassment if they have been subjected to like that on SHE-Box portal. Can we move to the next slide, please? So if we talk about the objectives of this digital platform, then I would say that basically it gives some strength, and I would not say some strength, it gives a lot of strength to our POSH Act implementation, because as a lot of awareness has been done for SHE-Box portal, women were not earlier aware that there is a portal wherein they can go and even file a complaint of sexual harassment. So basically it strengthens the core of POSH Act, and any woman who is working in any sector, whether in private or the government department, she can file a complaint over there. Also, SHE-Box portal provides a real-time tracking of the complaint filed over the portal. So a complainant or the IC, they can check over the portal that what is the status of the complaint and how much inquiry has been done in that, and all the proceedings of the inquiry are also reported on the SHE-Box by the IC or the LC. So therefore, it ensures transparency, and strict accountability also is there of the IC and the LC. And when we talk about the, accountability and awareness, so since 2024, a lot of awareness has been created about the SHE-Box portal amongst the women of any sector, that they can come up and file a complaint of sexual harassment. Also, it is pertinent to note that a major factor because of which women don't come up and file a complaint of sexual harassment is because they have this fear that their confidentiality will be breached. I just want to make sure that confidentiality of any women who is filing a complaint on SHE-Box portal is kept intact. It is only shared with the chairperson of the internal committee or the local committee. So if we are thinking that we are going to file a complaint of sexual harassment on SHE-Box portal, then it is going on a government portal, it will be disclosed to someone. So it is not like that. It is kept confidential, and this is a major factor, and I would say an important highlight of SHE-Box portal. So women can file their complaints directly without fear that it will retaliate or their confidentiality will be breached. And within 90 days, the inquiry is conducted. It is made sure that within 90 days, the inquiry of the sexual harassment complaint is concluded. Can we move to the next slide, please? So if we talk about who all can file a complaint on the SHE-Box portal, so people are of the view that we are just working on contract basis, we are working on ad hoc basis, or I am working as an intern in this department, can I file a complaint of sexual harassment? So SHE-Box portal and POSH Act has a very wide mandate when it comes to filing of complaint. So POSH Act says that women who is working in any workplace can file a complaint. In lieu of that, SHE-Box portal says that any woman who has a standard employment, like she's working on regular basis, she's working on temporary basis, ad hoc basis, or daily wage basis, maybe. If a woman is working, she has come to some workplace and she has worked there for just a day, and even if she resigns next day, and if she was subjected to sexual harassment on the very first day when she worked in that office, then she can come and file a report to the internal committee. The organization cannot say, no, you have been our employee just for a day, and now you are not our employee, you cannot come up with the complaint. No, it is not like that. So when we talk about contractual and appointment through agency. So the employees who have been working on contract basis in any organization, either directly or through some agent, they can also file a complaint of sexual harassment. And when we talk about the learners and the trainees, which is a major category, like interns, probationers, trainees, if they are lured that we will give you good marks, please come into this kind of sexual act with me, and we will give you good marks, or we will promote you, or we will give you some job after this training period. And if women are lured under that thing, so they can also file a complaint of sexual harassment. And I would like to mention here in that POSH Act does not talk about complaints from college students. They say that UGC has some guidelines under which the college students can file a complaint in the college itself. But on SheBox portal, college students, female college students can also file a complaint. Also, I would like to mention here in that if a girl or a lady is coming to a workplace as a visitor, like if she has come to apply for a job, or if she has come to do some, I would say, there is a program in the organization and to do some decoration sort of thing, or to make a rangoli, or to submit any documents. And if she has been subjected to sexual harassment at that time, then she can also file a complaint. So I would like to mention that external entities can also file a complaint of sexual harassment if they have been subjected to such kind of act. So can we move to the next slide? When we talk about sexual harassment, it is pertinent to note that there are 4 major categories in which sexual harassment has been divided. It is physical, it is verbal, it is non-verbal, and digital, I would say. So physical, maybe know if someone has pat on our shoulder, or if someone is touching us, or if we go to if the gravity of the act increases. So any kind of physical conduct which which includes physical touch. So that is sexual harassment. When we talk about verbal, so verbally making some sexually colored remarks, saying something like you are too short to be a girl, or you are too long to be a girl, too tall, I would say, or your complexion is very dark, or you have turned 35 and still you are unmarried. So if all these things are also said to a girl, then she can file a complaint of sexual harassment. And showing someone pornography against the wish of that person, either sharing it through digital mode or showing it like personally showing that. So this all is something which is constituted or considered as an act of sexual harassment. I would say there are 2 things. One is hostile environment. If such kind of environment has been created for a girl, like she is unable to work there. I would give you an example. Like there is a girl, her name is Meera. She is working in an organization. Head of the department, head of the office, I would say general manager, reaches out to her and gives her a proposal that come into this kind of sexual act with me and I will promote you. That girl prima facie denies that. She says, no, I'm not going to come into any such act with you. And what happens is she stays quiet about it. She does not share about this to anyone. But still next day she comes to know that she observes that people have been looking at her in such a way like she has done something wrong. And from some other person she got to know that the proposal which was made to her, that has come into knowledge of everyone around in the organization. Now she reaches out to the IC and reports about it. So the IC cannot say that nothing has happened with you, or you are reporting it because people are talking about it. So I would say that this situation has created hostile work environment for that girl. So she can go and report it to IC. And creating humiliating treatment with any lady, however, it should be backed by sexual harassment, then that can be reported under sexual harassment too in the SheBox portal also. So if we talk about different kind of acts which can be reported under POSH Act or on the SheBox portal, so major categories are physical, sexual harassment, verbally if anything has been done, non-verbal जिसमें कि हम मानेंगे कि कोई इशारा किया गया जो कि सेक्सुअल इंटेंट के साथ किया गया, तो दैट कैन आल्सो बी रिपोर्टेड. किसी को ये कहना कि आई एम गोइंग टू प्रमोट यू और आई विल गिव यू गुड मार्क्स इन अपार्ट, So please come in such kind of act with me. So all these things are something which are considered as sexual harassment under the POSH Act and can be reported on SheBox portal. So can we move to the next slide, please? So now we come to the major slide of this session, that how a complaint is filed on SheBox portal. So basically, it has 4 major categories, like filing of the complaint, then it is routed to the respective authority, then the respective authorities do the inquiry of that, and basically at the end, it is monitored by respective ministry, like Ministry of Women and Child Development. So we will cover these steps one by one. Can we move to the next slide, please? So yes, this first box, which is mentioning visit shebox.nic.in, we can visit this also, or http://shebox.nic.in. If we visit the website, if you can see the first table, first picture which is mentioned over there, यहाँ पे लिख रहा है Ministry of Women and Child Development. This kind of page will पॉपअप, ये पेज वहां पर आएगा जिसमें सबसे पहले रेड कलर में लिखा हुआ है रजिस्टर योर कंप्लेंट. यू कैन क्लिक ऑन दिस रजिस्टर योर कंप्लेंट. जैसे ही आप इस पे क्लिक करेंगे, एक 3 ऑप्शंस आएंगे कि आप सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से हैं, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से हैं या प्राइवेट डिपार्टमेंट से हैं. उन तीनों में से आप जिस भी कैटेगरी में फॉल करते हैं उस पे क्लिक करिए. वहां पे आपकी बेसिक डिटेल्स पूछी जाएंगी कि आप कौन सी मतलब आपका नाम क्या है, किस तरीके का सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट एक्ट आपके साथ हुआ. एक नीचे कंप्लेंट फॉर्म प्राइवेट सेक्टर का दे रखा है जिसमें से कंप्लेनेंट का वर्क स्टेटस पूछा गया है, एंड what else is there, मोबाइल नंबर पूछा गया है, ईमेल आईडी पूछा गया है. तो all these details are supposed to be filled in the registration form whenever we are filing a complaint of sexual harassment on SheBox portal. It is also pertinent to note that it is very important if you are having any evidence which you want to annex, so that should also be uploaded on the SheBox portal when you are filing your complaint. And after that, confirm email to create a secure password and generate a unique complaint ID so that you can track your complaint in future. So if you look at the first page, so it is having many things. सबसे पहले home is there. उसके बाद we have district repository and we have this register your complaint. So many things are here. And I also want to mention here is that in 22 languages, these complaints can be filed. If you go to the extreme right of this page, which will pop up if you will click on this link. So it will extreme right में languages option is there, wherein in 22 languages complaint can be filed. So can we move to the next slide, please? Now there is automated routing and systemic fail-safes. So whenever a complaint is filed on SheBox portal, there are 3 possibilities. First possibility is that the internal committee or the local committee of the person, like if the internal committee is registered on SheBox portal. If internal committee is registered on SheBox portal, then the complaint is automatically forwarded to the internal committee. Internal committee takes up the matter, does the inquiry in the matter, uploads all the response or the proceedings on SheBox itself. Now there is another scenario also when the IC is not registered on SheBox portal. लेटेस्ट अभी कुछ ऑडिट्स हुए थे, उसमें पता चला कि all ICs have not made themselves registered on SheBox portal. So if IC is not registered on SheBox portal, in that scenario, what can be done? So in that case, it is the duty of MWCD, like the person who is taking care of SheBox portal, they will find out like who is the employer of the women who has filed the complaint. I would say I am working with XYZ company. Okay, I have filed the complaint on SheBox portal. SheBox portal पे my XYZ company is not registered. The IC of XYZ company is not registered. So what MWCD will do? They will find out the employer of XYZ, be it the head of the department, be it the general manager. They will send that complaint to general manager and they will ask the general manager to mention and report, or I would say forward the complaint to their respective IC. फिर वो बोलेंगे IC को कि you take action on this, simultaneously get yourself registered on SheBox portal. So in this way, this thing will be done. So when we were talking about there is no IC, IC is not registered. In some scenarios, it has also been found that people are not aware that they have to constitute a IC in their organization. In that case, what is done? On the portal which we were seeing in the last slide, portal पे जो first page open हुआ था, उसमें there is state repository करके there is a column ऊपर. वहाँ पे if you will see, so there are district officers who are registered on SheBox. There are state nodal officers who are registered on SheBox. There are district nodal officers also who are registered on the SheBox. So if I am filing a complaint, I am working with the XYZ company, IC is there. IC is not there. So IC is not there, it is not registered. So what MWCD will do? They will forward my complaint to the state nodal officer and the district nodal officer. And then those state nodal officers or the district nodal officers will direct the complaint to the respective employer. They will direct the employer to constitute the IC immediately, and they will levy some fine also on them that why IC is not there. Then IC will be registered on SheBox, and then the action will be taken simultaneously. So we have talked about 3 scenarios कि IC है SheBox पे registered, तो directly the complaint will be forwarded to IC. IC है but SheBox पे नहीं है, तो employer के पास complaint जाएगी, employer will give it to IC. तीसरा scenario है कि IC ही नहीं बनी है, तो उस केस में district nodal officer या state nodal officer के पास complaint जाएगी, who will give it to the employer and or they themselves will take action on that. So can we move to the next slide? Now, how the inquiry is done. So major initial 90 days are very important whenever sexual harassment complaint is reported. So the inquiry has to be conducted within a period of 90 days. And in those 90 days, some reliefs can also be provided to the complainant. Like she can be subjected to, she can be given leave. And with pay, मतलब उसका salary नहीं cut किया जाएगा. She can be transferred to some other place, or the respondent can be transferred to some other place. So in those 90 days inquiry, which internal committee or local committee will do, what they will do is they will do the detailed inquiry, they will examine the witnesses. और हम जैसा जानते हैं कि इंटरनल कमिटी और लोकल कमिटी के पास सिविल कोर्ट की पावर होती है, तो मतलब वो उनको जो भी रिस्पोंडेंट है उनके अगेंस्ट वारंट तो नहीं दे सकती है, बट यस व्हाट दे कैन डू इज कि वो उनको बुला सकती है और समन भेज सकती है, उनको बुला सकती है, उनके एविडेंस को रिकॉर्ड कर सकती है, विटनेसेस को बुला सकती है. It has to be completed within a period of 90 days inquiry, and within next 10 days it should be reported. So what I would like to say is the principles of natural justice should be properly followed whenever the inquiry is being done. So, which is very important. No one should be biased. The members of the internal committee or the local committee or the state nodal officers or the district nodal officers, they should not be biased whenever the inquiry is being conducted. So can we move to the next slide, please? Ministry monitoring and system alerts. Why the SheBox portal has come into existence? I just want to say that SheBox is a portal just to receive the complaints and to keep a track of the complaints. That's it. SheBox is not going to interfere in any kind of inquiry which is being done by the internal committee or the local committee. Only a woman can come up with a complaint, file her complaint on SheBox portal. And what SheBox will do, they will forward the complaint to the respective IC or the LC, and after that, whatever the action has been done, action has been taken, that has to be reported on IC. So SheBox just keeps a track of the complaint whenever a complaint is filed on that. So it just talks about it. Ministry monitoring, ministry just keeps a track on the complaint which has been filed. Can we move to the next slide? I think I have exceeded my time. I'll just try to sum it up in 5-6 minutes more. So if we talk about SheBox portal, it has district nodal officers, it has state nodal officers who are registered on SheBox portal. So if you are unable to find anyone, you don't know about the whereabouts of your IC or LC, you can directly take the contact details of the district nodal officers or the state nodal officers. It is clearly there on the very first page of MWCD's website, SheBox वाला जो website है. So it is saying the head office registrars and nominates a nodal officer, और जो वो data होता है nodal officer का, that is verified by the district nodal officer. Can we move to the next slide? internal committee we talked about, an organization which is having more than 10 employees, in that case, IC is constituted. And any organization which is having less than 10 employees, or the women who are working in unorganized sector, or where the complaint is against the complainant himself, in those cases, local committee
I think okay, Shivam, I just call madam. I think their network is. Hmm? Shivam, just call her. Her network has some problem. Okay, so I think she has covered majority of portion, that how to make complaint, what are the things. Okay, now what I'll suggest, that before going to the next portion, let me just ask Alka madam, Jyoti madam, and Harmeet madam, just 2 minutes, if you can just give a that how this C box concept is changing this scenario of this. Then I will come to the question answer. So I'll start, Jyoti madam, with you.
Thank you, Pavanji. I hope you all can hear me out.
Yeah, please.
All right. So, well, at the outset, I must admit that Shebox is a very, very important and I think needed portal. It was required. Having been part of the local committee, I was with the Gurgaon local committee for almost 9 years. So when the Shebox first came into being in 2017, I have actually received a lot of complaints from the Shebox directed to the district office. And they would come from, I mean, even though we were representing Gurgaon, we would get a lot of complaints pan India. So you can imagine that, even at that time, there were aggrieved women who did not know where to go. But I also have to recognize that at that time, the Shebox was not being seen only as sexual harassment channel, but also any kind. So there were times when we would get, situations of, women saying that they have been unfairly terminated because of, let's say, them having disclosed pregnancy. So it was more a labor court issue, or it was more a labor law issue, but it would still find its way into the Shebox. So since then, I think Tulika did mention about the Aureliano Fernandez case. The Supreme Court coming in and saying that implementation needs to be stronger is a very, very timely concept. And I think the other point I wanted to make was that while it is there, there are still a lot of gaps. There are still a lot of questions that have been unanswered, which I think with time will get clarified. But there are certain practical challenges that many organizations are facing. And I would want to call out certain sectors: banking, retail, hardcore manufacturing locations, or even real estate, where offices open and then they shut because they are there for a small period of time. So how to then let's say register the organization, how to go about handling the registration and verification of the nodal officer. These are teething complaints, and I think the ministry is doing a great job in terms of fixing and even receiving those representations. But yes, those are issues that keep coming up. This third final thing before the others also put in their two insights. There is a big concern right now, which even I'm grappling with, that at an organization level you register with the Shebox, but most of the presiding officers are very senior women. And it can get a little tricky because let us say there are complaints where they're also handling inquiries, but they now have this added channel to keep updating. And the requirement is that let's say the complaint has come in, it does not mean that you just update at the end of the 90-day period. The requirement would perhaps be that at every stage of the process, like you've done an examination, or let us say you've granted interim relief, that needs to be posted. And therefore, what most organizations are doing now would be to maybe give a support to the presiding officer by maybe having a member secretary as part of the IC. So those are some of the things that I think organizations are grappling with. They're finding their way out. But yeah, I hope that in this discussion, more of that comes up.
Okay, okay. Thank you, madam. So, Tunika, madam, your 2 slides were pending. So, just you finish it.
I'm really sorry, I lost the connection, and
No.
IC just cut down our whole office's connection. I'm really sorry.
No
So
problem.
to start with, I would to end with, I just want to say that basically SheBox is a kind of repository system wherein the complainant as well as the employer, internal committee, local committee, ministry, district nodal officers, and the state nodal officers all can come and pool together, and wherein the complaint has been wherever the complaint is filed, so they all can come together and take up the matter and work on that. So basically, I would say it is a sort of transparent bridge wherein everything is transparent. And yes, the complainant should also consider that their confidentiality is kept intact and they should come forward whenever they face any kind of sexual harassment. So can we move to the next and the last slide, please? So I just want to mention here in that the people are of the view that can we file a complaint before the IC and on SheBox portal simultaneously. So yes, it is pertinent to know that SheBox is not a court or a tribunal or an appellate authority wherein who will do the inquiry and who will give any judgment or give any reports or prepare any reports. It is basically a platform wherein a lady can go file her complaint, which would be directed to the appropriate authorities. Appropriate authorities, which means the IC and the LC, are responsible for doing the inquiry on that. So basically, SheBox is just a portal wherein the complaint can be filed. So I think this is all from my side. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, I think we have so many questions and that is there. So I will start with directly to the questions because I'll take comments of everyone at the end. First, we should finish our questions first and then we'll do. Okay, so we have divided these questions on technical and legal framework, and we will ask questions one by one from everyone. So we have already taken choice of panelists. So first question is whether complaint filed on SheBox override or bypass the internal committee mechanism mandated in the POSH. So Tunika madam, can you tell us?
Yes, sir. So as my closing statement was this only, that SheBox is just a digital facilitation mechanism wherein the portal only receives the complaint of workplace sexual harassment. If a woman is being subjected to that, it forwards the complaint to the appropriate authority, which is the IC or the LC. We just discussed when the complaints are forwarded to IC and when it is forwarded to the LC. And last, it just tracks the progress. So I would like to mention here in that it just supplements the legal process rather than replacing it. So ultimately, the IC or the LC is the authority who does the inquiry. So there is no point of overriding or bypassing because the functions of SheBox and the functions of internal committee are completely different. So it is just the IC or the LC who does the inquiry and provides relief to the grievance of the victim. Okay. Next question is, Harmeet madam, can you just tell legal status of SheBox, the legal status of SheBox complaint? Does filing a complaint on SheBox constitute a formal complaint under Section 9 of POSH Act?
No, it does not mean filing a complaint under POSH Act because there is a specific procedure of filing a complaint, and POSH Act has not yet been linked with the SheBox norms. So SheBox may start with a parallel proceeding, And till such time, there is a recognition of SheBox into the POSH Act by way of maybe a circular initially, or maybe some clarification or a notification from the government itself. Till such time, we cannot see SheBox complaint being a formal complaint. Although once the complaint is filed through SheBox portal, it does get sent to the either the IC, as Tunika ma'am has already explained the procedure, so I'm not getting into that procedure right now. First to the IC if it is registered. If it is not, then the nodal officer. If nothing has been registered by that organization, then to the local committee, and that local committee is recognized on the basis of the complaint jurisdiction. The address is picked up from there, and it is an automated process. Full confidentiality is maintained, and the complaint reaches, once it reaches to the department, the concerned committee, thereafter it might be treated as the formal complaint, and thereafter the employer is responsible to take it up. If
Okay.
no IC is there, then definitely they will be first forming an IC, as ma'am has already informed the procedure. Employer will be constituting the IC thereafter, if in case it.
Okay. So next is role of district officer. So Alka madam, can you tell us what is the exact role of district officer when a complaint is routed through SheBox?
So when a complaint comes in through the SheBox, it is a district officer that will take up the complaint, will verify the complaint, and then transfer it to the appropriate IC or the appropriate LC. And also, what you have already discussed, so I don't want to say that again. In case an LC is not registered, or in case there is no IC form, then we've already discussed what needs to happen. So the district officer is the one who verifies it and sends it for onward, for the IC or the LC to take it on. And then after that happens, then the internal committee or the local committee continues with the rest of the process as has already been defined. Now, in addition to that, what the role of the district officer as well as the nodal officers, etc., really becomes the monitoring tool, so that they can track the complaints, they can ensure that it is completed within the timelines, that it is, whatever the POSH Act lays down is complied with, it's taken up seriously and resolved within the timeline. So all that comes under the district officer's purview after a POSH complaint is launched. Besides that, of course, they have other roles, but since this is specific to the complaint, I'll not go into that.
Okay. Okay. Tunika madam, integration with IC and LCC. How does SheBox ensure seamless coordination between the internal committee and local committee?
So, sir, again, I would like to mention here in that once a complaint is filed on SheBox, so system like the portal itself categorizes the complaints, whether based on the nature of employment, like whether it pertains to which government department, which private department, whether it pertains to an organized sector or to an unorganized sector. And then the availability of the IC or LC is seen over there. Then automatically, as we discussed, there are three scenarios. Like if IC is there, then the complaint itself routes to the internal committee if it has been constituted. If IC is not registered on SheBox, so the portal identifies the employer and places the complaint before the employer, and the employer handovers the complaint, or I would say further forwards the complaint to its respective IC. So this is in the case of IC. And when we talk of the local committee, so in local committee also, this is the same scenario. It will go to the respective district officer or the state nodal officer or the district nodal officer. Or if the IC is registered over there, so it will go to IC. So basically, SheBox acts as a common interface for multiple stakeholders. So we will, in this way, the integration is there. As we can see that complainants can also come over there and file their complaints. Nodal officers are already registered over there. IC members are registered over there. District level LC authorities are also there. So in this way, the integration of IC, LC, SheBox ensures seamless coordination between ICs and LCs. And recently also it has been said that it is mandatory for all the ICs and LCs to get themselves registered on SheBox. So I believe as soon as all the ICs and LCs will get themselves registered on the portal, things will become more seamless then.
Okay. Okay. So Jyoti madam, confidentiality compliance, this is question which may be having a different meaning. So Harmeet Madam, you also add point because so Jyoti Madam, can you tell how is confidentiality maintained under Section 16 of POSH Act when complaints are processed digitally by a SheBox?
Okay, so basically how this works is that when the complainant or the aggrieved, when she files a complaint, the complaint, as Tulika has also mentioned, is routed to the IC if it is registered. And obviously, the IC being registered means that the presiding officer details are already there on the portal. So the complaint goes directly to the presiding officer. It is not CC'd to the company or to anyone else. It will only go to the local committee or the district officer in case the company in question is not registered. So, therefore, that is one level of confidentiality which is not breached. The second is that when the complaint is, coming in for redressal, the presiding officer has to update on the portal whether they have admitted the complaint, on what grounds, and if they are, let's say, not admitting the complaint. So the matter gets closed there. It is the presiding officer, and that is why, like I was mentioning earlier, the nodal officer appointed by the company would typically be the presiding officer. Because if you had two separate head counts, then there would be a confidentiality breach. So that's very, very important that, the presiding officer is the point of contact and they are putting in all the details. The SheBox portal does not require that after the complaint is closed, the report be uploaded. There is no such requirement. And that is another place where there is a potential breach of confidentiality. So that does not happen because SheBox is not asking you for that.
Okay.
Finally, the local committee and the district officer, if they are getting involved, then, once they have identified that this particular company's IC has to run the process, then they are out of the picture. They do not have to be given any details. So all the matters are then taken care of.
Okay. Harmeet Madam, you want to add something in this?
Yes, sir. I think up to the level of uploading the reports, there is the process does require some reports to be uploaded during the inquiry process. But yes, at the end of it, it is not required to upload the entire recommendation if the IC is handling it. And only the status has to be uploaded that the complaint has been closed. And there is a process, one that ma'am has already undertaken, explained that there is a restricted access and that is only given to the presiding officer who has been registered by the organization itself. And this is I must say, it is a huge responsibility on that nodal officer, being the presiding officer, to maintain confidentiality of those login ID password. If those that login is shared with someone, so it is just like sharing your private details, your IT login or your bank login with someone. So confidentiality is the core of it, which is being maintained by the SheBox mechanism, while it is the human who can make errors thereafter. Because SheBox does not allow any sharing of data with the media or maybe the public, and you are also not supposed to disclose it publicly. So it is very discreet way of uploading documents with the government. Since the complaint has come via SheBox, therefore you are obliged to submit certain reports, nothing thereafter. So yes, confidentiality is definitely maintained and it is an integral part of the system.
Okay. Next. So data retention and privacy. Now this is very complicated issue. What are the data retention policy of SheBox and are they aligned with emerging data protection law like Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023? Anyone can give us. Anyone who, because this is a slightly different, but must be when you are discussing this issue must have come because data protection law is very, very important and they talk about that you can't share with anybody's any information because when you file complaint in SheBox, it may be complaint. It is not finality and it is out. Then the reputation of other person is also on stake and the person who is making complaint is also affected. So any comments of anybody?
Let me come in here.
Yeah.
So under the DPDP Act, the SheBox portal also becomes a data fiduciary because they're holding that information, whatever information that may be, either the aggrieved, whatever details she may have shared, and so on. So, as far as I'm aware, right now, uh, on the SheBox portal, we do not have any indication of how the data is being stored and in what frequency is it being disposed. And this is not just under DPDP, but this could also have implications from a GDPR standpoint, because a lot of companies have a multinational. So if there is any violation, because any data that they are also uploading, let's say there is a case where the presiding officer is uploading information, so that particular organization, if it is also covered under GDPR guidelines, could be questioned. So what organizations are doing here is that when they are appointing nodal officers, and when they are saying that you would be required as a presiding officer to upload the status, they are having to change their internal policies to abide by GDPR. However, on the SheBox, Tulika, maybe you can help. I have at least not seen, a clear policy.
Yes.
Okay.
It is not there. It is, even if in the in FAQs it was asked, and some people have raised queries about it also. But yes, expressly nothing has been mentioned over there. They might have something in their SOP or like that, but to the public it is not over there on the portal.
Okay. Alka madam, cross-jurisdictional complaints. How are complaints handled when the employer, employee, and incidental location fall under different jurisdiction?
Yeah, so it is pretty much similar whether you have it through the SheBox or not through the SheBox. Okay. In most of the cases, what happens is that, like in the SheBox, if a complaint goes in, the district officer is going to have a look and say who is the person responsible, where should it be given. Now, typically, it will be where the incident has happened and where the employee belongs, who is raising the complaint. But what typically happens is that the IC of that particular location takes up the case, and it is they internally who then interact with where the complainant, the respondent may be, where the incident has occurred, where the employee is. They have to take all that into consideration, get witnesses, inputs, etc., from all the various places, from all the various stakeholders, and then run the entire process that the IC has to. So typically it is the IC of one location, the main location, that takes it up, where the incident has occurred, where the employee may be based, that is the complainant, and then coordinates with the respondent's location, the respondent's company. Sometimes the company may also be different from there, and then brings the whole thing together. So the same thing literally will happen on the SheBox portal also.
Okay. Tunika madam, now there is one particular issue in the government sector or everywhere, that is called anonymous complaints.
Yes, sir.
Now, does SheBox allow anonymous complaint, and if so, how they are treated legally?
So, sir, basically, not basically, I would say technically, so SheBox does not formally recognize fully anonymous complaints as valid complaints, because POSH Act also entitles that the complaint should be written. And though if it is not being filed by an aggrieved woman, any other person on her behalf can file a complaint, but it should be backed by a consent form. Like, the consent of the complainant is very important under that, and it should have basic details of what all has happened. So as SheBox, I would say, has come in lieu of this POSH Act. It does not completely take into consideration anonymous complaints. But yes, in the practical studies, it has been found that if any anonymous complaint has been filed, but it contains specific allegations, so what can be done? It can be forwarded to the IC or LC. They can treat it as a source of information, and what they can do is they can start or initiate a preliminary fact finding, or internal vigilance review can be done, or awareness can be done. So I would not say that inquiry will be done on that basis, but yes, it can be sent to the respective IC or LC as a source of information that we have, wherein the name of the respondent is there. So in that case, it can be forwarded to the respective IC or LC to take a note of that we have received this kind of complaint. The name of the person is not there, but you should try to do a preliminary fact finding that what it is all about. But yes, inquiry cannot be initiated on that.
Okay. Any view on this and any different view? If any different view, please tell us. Otherwise, I can move on. Okay.
I just had a question on the
Yeah.
previous one, the cross-jurisdictional.
Yeah.
Pavanji, if there is time, not right now, but later. See, where complaints or where incidences are happening online or virtually, there it gets very, very tricky. So it needs to be handled very differently. Because, and especially if, let's say, the complaint is against a vendor or a supplier who's not really, and they don't really have an IC, and it's happened digitally. So their handling of such complaints and then determining the jurisdiction is a little tricky. I just wanted to share that.
Okay. So now come to the second portion of procedural and compliance queries. Okay. So first is timeline enforcement. So Alka madam, can you suggest how does CBOX monitor compliance with statutory timeline, that is 90 days for inquiry?
Yeah, so actually, this is where really the importance of the SheBox really comes into play. In the sense that once the complaint has been made, the fact that the organization, be it the LC, IC, have to take it seriously, have to ensure that it's complied with and closed within 90 days, etc., that can be monitored. So that can be monitored by the district officer, by the nodal officers, by the Women and Child Development Ministry. So all of that can be monitored, and there can be escalations, and the organization can be penalized if they have not completed it within the 90 days. So given all of that, that is how the compliance would be monitored and ensure that there is timely compliance. While I say that this is a good thing, obviously it's a very good thing that it is taken seriously. However, naturally, since it is the IC, say for example, that is doing the entire thing, in terms of whether it is being done in a fair manner, or whether it is being done with integrity, or whether it is being done with all kinds of fairness, etc., that is not something really that I feel that the SheBox can monitor. They can monitor timelines, they can monitor whether the basic tenets of law are being followed. But so yeah, timeline enforcement, yes. But the quality of what goes into play, that is really not possible for SheBox at this point of time, at least.
Okay. So next is non-responsive employers. What happened, Harmeet madam, if an employer fails to act on a complaint forwarded through CBOX?
Yeah, so he shall be definitely responsible and liable under the penalties of the law, because now it is impossible for any organization to deny, to say that, yes, the complaint was not received, we were not notified, it was not in writing, we could not receive it, it was never given in a proper manner, or whatever the excuses used to be there. Now, if a complaint is being forwarded from SheBox, it is time-stamped. So one cannot deny that a complaint has been raised and forwarded. So that is on the ministry's record. So the employer has to be more responsible going forward. And if a complaint is being filed through SheBox, they can never deny that complaint was not received by them, because the email IDs, if they have given a fake ID or non-operative ID, even then they are held responsible. If they have not registered themselves, then they have to face the consequences. So all the consequences, especially under Section 26, although the amount is not much, but for systemic faults, defaults, and non-compliance of the act can ultimately lead to the license suspension also. So it's not that the consequences are not grave, and they are, I think, all the more responsible now, because digital record cannot be erased, and that too being maintained by a ministry. So this is an automated process, and I must say that this is a welcome step to start with. Since the process is started, it has rolled over, and it's been only 1.5 years. And a lot of companies are trying, a lot of organizations, we are helping them to get them registered over the SheBox portal, although it's said to be a cumbersome process right now, but I'm sure we'll find some way out, and the problems shall be solved by the even LC level, even the local DM levels. The questions, the queries are being raised while registering the company. So it is a welcome step in a way. All the organizations and the employers are becoming responsible themselves. Now, once the complaint has been raised, they can never say that we didn't know it, we have misplaced it. So they are directly responsible and all the more liable, I must say.
Okay. So escalation mechanism. Alka madam, is there any automatic escalation system within SheBox for delayed or mishandled complaints?
I think we have actually already answered this in the above two questions, because automatically, since it is being tracked and monitored by the government, by the ministry, by the district officers, etc., any lapse in timeline or failing to take up a case will automatically get escalated, and there will be penalization in addition to that.
Okay. Tolika madam, there is a very interesting topic, interesting question, multiple complaints.
Yes, sir.
How are repeated complaints against the same respondent handled in SheBox system?
So, sir, if multiple complaints relate to different incidents, like if a woman has been subjected to sexual harassment today, if she has been the same woman has been subjected to sexual harassment tomorrow, if some other women has been subjected to sexual harassment by the same person. So in that case, all the complaints are treated as separate complaints, even if it is against the same respondent. So basically, this is especially relevant in cases of continuing harassment and repeated acts over a period of time. So what IC can do is, if we talk about registration of complaints, so different complaints can be filed. But what IC can do is, if IC is of the view that we should club the complaint, so they can club the complaint into a single inquiry for efficiency. Yeah, what else IC can do is, they can examine the pattern of behavior so that the case can be strengthened. So if we talk about registration, so yes, it can be filed separately, but it is completely on the discretion of the IC that whether they want to club it or they want to deal with each complaint separately.
Okay.
Yes.
Now so the next question in procedural thing, Alka madam, can you tell, does SheBox facilitate tracking or filing or appeal under Section 18 of POSH Act?
Okay. Now, as far I am aware, and I stand corrected if it is if some modification has taken place, that the SheBox is there for receiving the complaints from individuals and then tracking it, forwarding it to the IC, etc., and ensuring that the complaint gets handled. However, after the complaint is handled, as far as SheBox is concerned, there doesn't seem to be any tracking mechanism for future appeals. Because when you talk about future appeals, after the IC has given its judgment, etc., the future appeals under Section 18 have a different process altogether. And that has to be to the tribunals and the courts, etc. So that has its own process, and that is independent of the SheBox. And that is not being tracked in SheBox, as far as I'm aware.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Achha, now friends, I'm shifting to the practical and logical issues. My request is, because I'm receiving more than 17 more questions, so we have to be now start the rapid round fast earlier. So whatever now you are giving answer, you just skip to the point so we can cover more, because I have reached only 14 questions. So 25 questions plus 16, there was more than 45 questions. So let's do it short and crisp. Okay. So Harmeet madam, can you tell what happens if the same complaint is filed both internally and SheBox?
Yeah, so like Tunika ji just explained, while we have multiple complaint scenario, this could be a similar scenario when same complainant goes to two places. Now, ultimately, the complaint has to land to the IC only, right? And the employer, the organization has to deal with it with the proper POSH Act mechanism, IC mechanism, and whatever they are doing internally, as per the POSH policy, of course. So important is to club the entire all the facts from two complaints if they are because two parallel proceedings cannot follow, and SheBox is not a proceeding. It is only a via media of filing complaint. Ultimately, the complaint shall be handled at one place and all the facts shall be combined. And one place of record, one place of handling, one inquiry. So ultimately, it is the employer's responsibility. Yes.
Okay. Tonika madam, very important and which is a complaint of everyone.
Yes, sir.
Misuse and false complaints. What safeguard exists within SheBox to prevent misuse of frivolous complaint?
So, sir, basically, I would talk about it in a very crisp manner that SheBox just takes up the complaint, forward it to the respective IC or LC. Fine. Now it is the responsibility of IC or LC to do a proper inquiry, and whenever inquiry is completed by IC or LC, so it whatever the results are of that, like if it has been found that the person who was alleged that he is the respondent, he has done such kind of thing. So many remedies have been provided, wherein which are ensured to the complainant. But it is also mentioned in the POSH Act that if it is found that a frivolous complaint or a false complaint or a malicious complaint has been filed by a woman, in that case also IC is at its discretion. They can take all those actions against the women which are available against the respondent if the complaint is found to be frivolous. So I would say that on SheBox, there is no such clause of finding out frivolous or malicious complaints or any penalty for that. But yes, as the inquiry is being done by the IC or LC, so IC or LC will be responsible to levy any kind of penalty on the complainant if it is found to be false.
Okay. Jyoti madam, you have any view on this?
No. Carry on.
Okay. Next
And
is
also, I think just one thing is that since anonymous complaints are not allowed, automatically you're tracking the emails and the mobile numbers, etc.
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Next is awareness and accessibility. Is SheBox adequately accessible to women in unorganized sector and rural areas? Tunika madam?
No, sir. As of now, women in unorganized sector are not even aware of that. A portal like SheBox is there in existence wherein they can file their complaints. So in that case, it becomes the responsibility of the district nodal officers and the state nodal officers, as well, I would say the state also, to make them aware that if they have been subjected to any kind of sexual harassment in their area, like अगर कोई ईंट के भट्टे पे महिलाएं काम कर रही हैं तो उन्हें पता होना चाहिए कि उनके साथ अगर गलत तरीके से छेड़छाड़ हो रही है, कुछ हो रही है, तो देयर आर सम सॉर्ट ऑफ जो वहाँ पे पैम्पलेट्स होते हैं, आंगनवाड़ी महिलाएं जो है वो उन पैम्पलेट्स को बांटे या उनको छोटे छोटे 5-5 मिनट में ही बता दे कि भाई
No,
ये
they-
जो हाँ जी.
But regional language is used there or not?
So there are 22 हमारी जो languages हैं, in 22 languages SheBox portal पे complaint can be filed in 22 languages, जिसमें हमारी Assamese और जो भी हमारी regional languages हैं, it is there. It can be filed, but yes, I would definitely say that it is not accessible for women because they are not even aware of. और उसके बाद it is something which is digital in nature, so they don't know what is the link on which they should press, how they should fill that form. It is itself, it is a very long process. So yes, Abhi, it is going to take some time, like to reach out to those women. Yeah.
Okay.
I just add here that because in local committee I've handled this, there are a lot of these NGOs who are actually supporting these unorganized. So what they are doing is, apart from doing the dissemination, they are also helping in the filing.
Okay.
At least filing. अभी I don't know SheBox में कितना आ रहा है, but like एक होता है ना वो one stop center होता है, so
Yes,
they
ma'am.
come to the local committee, from there then we get the one stop center people come in and then they get their voice is heard. But then there are some very strong local NGOs who are supporting, especially in NCR.
Okay.
That's nice.
So next question, Shivam. Next. So digital divide. Shivam, next question. Yeah. How effective is SheBox for employee with limited digital literacy? Alka madam, can you suggest?
Yeah, so as I think we've already covered to some extent that digital literacy jahan kam hai, it is difficult. Okay. Now, what also happens is that while as Jyoti madam she said that somebody else, especially the NGOs and all, can file it. But what happens also, since I've seen it in some of the rural areas, the confidentiality goes. And the kind of pressure that is faced by women in the rural areas, not to pursue complaints. Their families get threatened. A whole lot of things happen. So it's not very easy because confidentiality does get compromised. The other fact is that when there is no digital literacy, there is also the fact that the infrastructure is not there. So they will not even own a mobile phone. They will not have an email ID, which has requirements for SheBox. So then it is really actually not effective.
But Tunika madam, suppose I'm a female and I'm making a complaint. I will make complaint against the person. So ultimately, when action will take, that person will come to know that who has filed complaint. So what is the confidentiality here? Because the victim will always make a complaint. It's not an anonymous complaint, can't file it.
No, see, the thing is, identity of the victim, identity of the respondent, as well as all the inquiry proceedings which are going on, or for whatever the report, inquiry report has come up. See, it is impossible to say, it is not possible to hide the identity of the complainant from the respondent himself, because they will be called on for the evidences, for their statements. तो उन दोनों को आमने सामने बैठना ही होगा. वो बोलेंगी इन्होंने मेरे साथ ऐसे किया, वो बोली. तो हम जब confidentiality की बात कर रहे हैं, so we are not talking about hiding the confidentiality or the identity of the victim from the respondent. We are saying that we are hiding it from the outside world. Complainant, respondent, and 5 ICK members. इसके अलावा no 8th person should be aware of any of the thing which is happening in that sexual harassment case. So yes, the confidentiality clause which we were talking about is only that it is not possible to hide the identity of respondent and the complainant from each other, because in that case inquiry cannot happen.
Okay. Next is a corporate governance and risk prospectus. Because now this POSH Act government is making that board should consider, board should say ESG is a part of this. So Jyoti madam, can you just tell, should companies include SheBox related complaint in board level ESG in government's reporting?
See, अभी actually वो जुलाई से तो आपका MCA के हिसाब से तो you have to do the reporting.
Yeah.
That already is happening. I honestly don't see why it should be made more than that. This is enough. पहले SheBox जो हमने किया है, and you know the the internalization of SheBox at a company level होना चाहिए. और आपका कंपनी जो एनुअल रिपोर्ट में आप वैसे भी आप डिटेल शेयर कर रहे हो. So that is enough for now. Maybe after a couple of years you could look at this. Not, I would just say it would be an overkill.
Okay. Okay. Should internal auditor verify whether complaints have been filed externally by SheBox? Tunika madam?
Yes, sir. I'll keep my answer crisp. So basically, internal auditors should, because it is very important to keep a note of what all complaints have been registered through SheBox portal and internally also, and it will help them to prepare their annual report at the end of the year. And yes, they should take into account what all inquiry has been done. So yes, internal auditors should keep it, and it will help them in preparing whenever the internal audit of the organization is being done. So this question is being asked. We have come across this thing. कि ये पूछा जाता है. Are you registered on SheBox? Yes, are you registered on SheBox?
ESG disclosures, in the audit committee
Yes,
meetings
yes.
and the internal audit exercises, this is already a part of that.
Yes, and
Okay.
so many people have asked in the this chat box also that is it mandatory to register their IC on SheBox. So it is nowhere mentioned that it is very mandatory or this much fine will be levied on you. No, nothing like that is there. But yes, we should keep it as a what to say, corporate responsibility, that whenever your internal audit will be done, make sure मतलब you will be asked this question, and if you fail to answer this, तो आपके थोड़े से marks तो वहाँ पे cut हो सकते हैं. So yes, it should be, you should be registered over there, because it is surely going to help you.
It is
Okay.
not mandatory by law as of now.
Yes,
and
yes.
The government has not made that mandatory, but many state governments are doing
Yes.
it on their
Yeah.
own, and many high courts have also mandated.
Yes, yes.
Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Delhi, Haryana, they have already
Noida, yes,
mandated
Noida
ESG.
has recently, Maharashtra too has even we ordered to do the internal audit of all the organizations, whether they are registered on POSH or not. So yes, it is not mandated by law, but Supreme Court has said, और हम Supreme Court की बहुत सारी चीजों को मानते हैं, तो yes, we should get it registered
At
on.
high court levels. Yes, it is being
Yes.
Okay. Employer's liability. Can failure to respond to a SheBox complaint increase employer's liability under POSH Act?
Yes, definitely, sir. It does. And they are being held responsible. Right now, we start from registering, constituting an IC. People are not constituting it. People are not getting them registered on SheBox. While a complaint is registered on SheBox, that makes a huge difference. They cannot deny it, as I explained earlier. If they do nothing after receiving, the employer, the presiding officer, all are held responsible. If they are not taking any action, they are not reporting, that gap is visible and being tracked by a ministry. You can understand the consequences, and the employers are also now understanding. It's not a query list being given by the DM only now. It is being monitored, being tracked by the ministry itself. So it has a significance. And as I told earlier, ESG reviews are asking this. They are taking an impact of those trainings, whether those trainings have happened or not. So all these steps are getting visible in terms of their investigation and audit and reviews and reportings. So we are reaching to a point, but I must say this is a very nascent stage. Like I
Okay.
said, even those organizations who are mandated to form the IC are not forming it only, right? What to say about other compliances? There are hardly 4 to 5 compliances, and organizations just fail to follow them as well only. But the kind of awareness that we are having through the society, people are aware, females are aware, and they are filing complaints. So this is the magnitude of this complaint mechanism is going to be huge. And I must say, the ministry must use it to form an algorithm, maybe study the pattern, how and who is filing the complaint, which sector is getting more complaints. So that can also be studied further. Employer cannot escape now. That is the key.
Okay. Now, super fast questions, yes and no, immediate answer. Okay. So, Alka madam, reputational risk. How should companies manage reputational risk arising SheBox complaint?
Now, I can't say yes or no for this. So I'll use a few sentences. Okay. First of all, my first statement is that I have a problem with saying that reputational risks arising from a complaint. And that is because we are making it a us versus them kind of a thing. When you're
Okay.
talking about complaints, why should a complaint from an individual be a risk for an organization? If an organization is compliant, if an organization has policies in place, has IC in place, everything in place, then the complaint is not a risk for the organization. As long as they handle it properly, handle it in a fair and just manner, and follow the laws, it's not a risk. In fact, if you ask me, if there is a complaint and an organization is handling it well, it is actually a positive for them. It shows that people can have trust in them. It shows that people can actually even if something goes wrong in the organization will stand by them and make things okay. I think it actually enhances the reputation of company. It is not a risk provided everything is followed. But I think we haven't gotten to a place where we have a culture where we say that, okay, let us work together to make it a zero tolerance place. It is still very much a tick box. Until it remains a tick box, we are going to try to sweep things under the carpet. We are going to just try to do things in an automatic fashion. So if we don't do that, I think the organization has no risk really.
Okay. Policy and reform oriented questions I'm just asking. Alka madam, can you just say SheBox be integrated with the upcoming labor compliance framework in India?
One word, yes.
Okay.
It will help. It'll enhance the monitoring and enhance the seriousness of it, and enhance how things will get.
I think Tonika madam, very interesting question which is everybody's asking is coming to you automatically. Okay. Expansion scope. Should SheBox be extended to cover gender neutral complaints?
I will answer it in a one line. No, just make it specialized. Don't generalize it, because there are many other laws which are taking care of people in one way or the other. So just make it specialized. Just get all the ICs registered on it. Make it more flexible. इसे जो भी cumbersome चल रहा है लोगों को register करने में show रहा है. No, there is no need to extend it to gender neutral complaints. No.
Okay.
Not
Jyoti
required.
madam. Okay.
I think
How
it's
does
बहुत
SheBox-
views होंगे, so I think we should go with only one view.
Okay. Jyoti madam, how does SheBox compare with grievance redressal system in other jurisdiction? Shivam, next.
So SheBox is basically for sexual harassment. So other jurisdictions don't really come in because you have grievance redressal for so many other, grievances. But this is primarily for sexual harassment at the workplace. You also have so many other issues which happen, in any organization. But for that, you have separate grievance redressal mechanisms.
And when
Okay.
you talk
Yeah.
about global benchmarking, most
Yeah.
of the global laws would be gender neutral.
Okay. Harmeet madam, AI should be used for CBOX.
Yes, definitely. Big way.
Okay.
AI, so how it could be done by them, as I was telling earlier, they should just analyze the kind of complaints they are having. Right now, I'm not sure, Tunika ma'am can inform further. They must be having thousands of complaints, if not lakhs. So
Yes.
those thousands can be, analyzed. And it is very easy these days. You can have any statistics analyzed, and with the anonymity, of course, you can
Okay.
run through the pattern from which sectors you are getting more complaints. You can become proactive. Right now, POSH Act is reactive. You get a complaint, then you सो के उठते हैं, फिर IC बनाते हैं, फिर पूछते हैं क्या हुआ. So we can definitely enter into a proactive system.
Harmeet, I just want to make a point here, okay? And I'm basing this on data of 2017-18. I received about 25 complaints on the SheBox. Only 3 complaints were actually sexual harassment complaints. So if I'm using AI, okay, we have to do the right prompts because otherwise data can be really misleading.
Problem is that our past is not perfect. So AI always uses the past data.
No,
So
no,
we
no,
can't
no.
disclose
Harmeet.
the results outside. We have to just analyze them and then
Yeah.
maybe
So I'm
2
just saying
3 years
AI
later,
prompt, the AI
we'll be able
prompts,
to use
because
them.
the AI prompts can be very misleading. And I'm just saying that what was happening earlier, where the example I'm giving, where you had 3 genuine complaints and the others were all workplace harassment issues, where, obviously they were not even admissible. That has only multiplied. Okay. Because I personally handled in the last 1 year, I've handled 200 complaints. Okay. Now, out of those 200 complaints, 30%, okay, were grievances which had nothing to do with sexual harassment. So my point still remains that whenever you're looking at AI or doing any analysis, it has to, because see, the SheBox is not actually looking at the admissibility of a complaint. They're not looking at, whether the complaint is
Definitely
sexual harassment.
how it's
Yeah.
substantiated
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
whether
So
it
that is a concern. The rest
So
is fine.
human touch
Sorry.
is definitely required for any data to be used and thereafter to be publicized, to be, published. Prior to that, the human judgment shall be required on that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and always it should be backed by human judgments and human analysis, I would say.
And AI results are definitely based on the past researches done, articles published. So I don't
Yes.
think initial 2 years or 1.5, maybe 1 year it shall be able to give a perfect answer. But yes, one can start applying.
Madan sir, we are eating away your time. So you have to cut short, or I should continue with the ladies now. Tell me.
Choice is yours. Boss is always right. You are the boss of the day.
No, boss's majority is right. Majority is there. So I will just actually we have to give answer 1 and 2 because Madan has to take care of 2-3 questions, and then I have a 20 questions that I will cover. So now evidential value. Harmeet madam, whether this what evidential weight does a SheBox complaint carry in judicial process?
So it is really very relevant from the legal practitioner's perspective here. I must tell the fake complainants also, and we keep informing them that now while filing a complaint here, it has an evidentiary value, right? And in the BNS system, in the new law, this is considered to be a proper complaint. The timestamp is there, the IP address is there, the whosoever has filed the complaint, anonymity is maintained for masking is done for not sharing the data with outsiders. But yes, definitely all the data is being maintained. So it could be used positively by the genuine complainants, but it can go against the fake malicious intent. The complaints.
Okay. Harmeet madam, we have to be very short now because I have so many questions.
One line answer is yes.
Yeah.
Evidentially based.
So now let's do it one line answer only.
Uh-huh.
Tunika madam, overlap with criminal law.
So,
How do you see this?
क्रिमिनल लॉ में बात करें तो बीएनएस आ गया है सेक्शन 74, सो इट डज नॉट ओवरलैप विद बीएनएस, बिकॉज बीएनएस में तो हमें पता है दैट इज अ क्रिमिनल लॉ, 1 से 5 साल तक की सजा हो सकती है अगर किसी के साथ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट होता है। साइमल्टेनियसली अगर कोई लेडी ने आईसी के सामने, एलसी के सामने कंप्लेंट फाइल करी है तो वो एफआईआर भी फाइल कर सकती है। सो नो, इट डज नॉट ओवरलैप विद आर भारतीय न्याय संहिता।
अच्छा, whistleblower protection. So, Alka madam, what do you feel this whistleblower mechanism under corporate governance frameworks, how it can be considered?
It can be considered because you have confidentiality here, you have protection against retaliation, you have you have a system to see through, to do the inquiry and provide justice, etc. So yeah, it can. I think, in my view, it can be considered under whistleblower protection.
Sorry, okay. Standardization for outcome. Alka madam, is there any need to standardize penalty guideline for complaint process through CBOX?
I think this is a double-edged sword. So, all the ICs, they do grapple with what kind of penalty they should give and things like that. But at the same time, I say it's a two-edged sword, because while broad guidelines of penalty can be given, each case is extremely unique. And how you actually interpret that and what kind of penalty has to be given, it can end up being too much, too less. I think there's a lot of thinking through needs to be done before something like this can be done. And also, there's one thing I would like to state very quickly is that I have seen numerous times when women want to complain, but at the same time, they do not want harsh penalty. And if you say that there might be penalty, they actually do not want to formally complain. Okay, so that in the corporate world, there are lots of such situations. Now, if you're going to say that for this, so this penalty has to be given, then I think it may even deter them from complaining.
Okay. Next is sector specific. How effective CBOX for gig workers? Jyoti madam, can you just tell for big gig versus consultant and remote employees?
The rules are the same, whether you're a consultant or a gig worker. As long as you're an aggrieved woman, you file the complaint.
Okay.
The only problem will be if, let's say, the gig worker is not filing it against an employee of whichever company he's working with, but maybe a customer. Then, honestly, the SheBox complaint filing would not really help.
It will then lead to the local committee, right?
No, it won't, because if he's a customer, then unless that customer comes from a employer and like Swiggy, like a Swiggy, it will have to be a criminal. See, for him, it's at the workplace. In fact, if you remember the Ola case,
yes, that's
right?
what.
So the Ola case is a good case because there the position was such. So it will depend on the actual specifics of the case.
Okay.
That is how it's
considered the employee there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should sector specific guideline be introduced for startup, MSME and government bodies? Alka madam?
Yeah, I think some kind of guidelines are essential, because I think, as Jyoti madam was saying in the beginning, a lot of corporates really grapple with trying to comply, and they find workarounds, but it is difficult. Like startups can be people with very few people, not a strong HR, not a strong legal, and for them to formulate and to actually have LCs which are equipped to handle these cases and all can be difficult. Similarly, government bodies are a completely different kind of structures, very hierarchical, process-driven, etc. So I think some kind of guidelines in terms of all the various aspects of the POSH law, how to implement, would be helpful.
Okay. Okay. So next, Shivam, how can CBOX be adopted for workplace with complex structure like group companies or cross-border terms? I think, Shivam, next question. This is different. So ethical, how should CBOX handle high profile or senior management complaint to ensure neutrality? Alka madam.
Yeah, so basically, when you're talking about high profile senior management complaints, one is that from the perspective of the SheBox, because these are the cases where things can get swept under the carpet, or a lot of favoritism can happen and things like that. So this is where probably the oversight of the district officer or the nodal officers would really help. And also the Women and Child Development Ministry, in terms of ensuring that there is fairness, taking a closer look at the process, ensuring that due diligence is done before, and most importantly, the findings of the IC and the recommendations are implemented.
Okay.
In fact, that is probably a lacuna overall in the she box, but I think it becomes even more critical when you're talking about senior management.
Okay. Jyoti Madam, what additional safeguards are needed for retaliation protection under complaints are routed through CBOX?
That's a tough one. Honestly, the she box is just a channel. They can't really, do anything about retaliation unless, they make some features where they say that if the complainant is fearing retaliation, then she can go to the district officer. Right now, the she box doesn't have any such provision. But yeah, it could be done.
Okay. Now, two questions relating to future. Then I will tell Madan sir to give, and then I'll come to the question answer of public also, some new question. Now, Tulika Madam, these two questions I'm addressing to you. Should CBOX be expanded beyond sexual harassment to cover broader workplace grievances? And
No, sir. As we have discussed it earlier, no, this is the high time that we just focus on sexual harassment, make it more handy for everyone out there, every woman who has been subjected to sexual harassment, that she can come and report it here. Abhi already, people are not aware about it. So Abhi, it is going to take a lot of time. Abhi, it is just an initial phase. So no, Abhi, this is not the right time.
Okay.
Later on, we may think of. Yes.
can CBOX evolve into a predictive governance tool identifying early warning signal for toxic workplace culture? Alka Madam, do you think?
Yeah, I think it definitely can, because there is a repository of information, and if for instance, some cases are coming from, a lot of cases are coming from a particular organization, obviously it's an indication of something not going quite right, and that can be a prediction. But it's not only to do with specific organizations; it could be to do with certain sectors, because it is possible that certain sectors of industry may have more complaints depending on the kind of people they have on their roles, the kind of people they employ, the contract workers, and sometimes I have seen cases where it can really, really impact particular sectors, because the women in those sectors are very easy to manipulate, to and to kind of force into things. So yes, it can definitely give a predictive, it can be a predictive tool and can help formulate probably special, like we were saying, that special industries and sectors can have some special guidelines. It can definitely help in that.
Okay. Now, Madam, last question, Tulika Madam, from this particular thing. What would be the ideal version of CBOX looks like in next 5 years?
So, sir, if you take in my point of view, so it should be a complete life cycle management of a thing. Like, it should not be just limited to tracking of the inquiry. The recommendation should also be there on the CBOX portal. Compliance tracking should also be there. And I would like to say that all the ICs should be mandatorily integrated on this. Like, Abhi people are, the majority of the questions I was going through the questions, the people are asking, is it mandatory? Is it mandatory? So yes, all the ICs and the LCs should be mandatorily registered on this. And one more thing, that is a very personal view. I would like to say that POSH Act is just extended to women, protection of women from sexual harassment at workplace. So I think in later stage, after 5-6 years, LGBTQ is also there. And whenever we go to the POSH sessions, the men over there say we are also subjected to some sort of sexual harassment at workplace, which act is providing relief to us. So I believe, yes, if this is a very personal advice, not advice, a thought, that yes, anyone who is subjected to sexual harassment, irrespective of their gender, I think POSH Act should extend to them. Not recent, abhi ekdam nahi, after 10-15 years. So yes, it can be extended to other genders as well.
So so for the all attendee, we will cover all your questions. We have 26 more questions, but before this, Madan sir, I think you were giving 4-5 example. You confined to 2 example, which is very important. You have to unmute yourself, sir.
Sir, confining to 2 case study will be absolutely injustice to me.
Me?
Confining to 2 questions, 2 case studies will be injustice to me.
No, because I can't control.
Okay, but I want more than, I'll try to finish 5-6 cases in 10 minutes itself.
Okay, then I will continue the program for 15 minutes more, and I'll cover all questions. So all participants, please, we will cover all your questions. Don't worry.
Thank you. First of all, good afternoon to everybody, all my co-panelists. And thanks to Pawanji, your team, and that you're also the torch bearers of this particular legislation. Every year you hold at least one program on this issue. Pawanji, to me, sexual harassment, when I talk about prohibition or prevention of sexual harassment or prosecution for sexual harassment, I do not want to confine into POSH. According to me, sexual harassment under any other legislation should not be tolerated at all and should be subject to severe penal provisions. However, at the same time, I'm of the view that wherever we have women-centric laws, there should not be any misuse of the provisions of those laws, and there should not be any abuse of the provisions of those laws. So today in these 5-6 case studies, I am not confining to POSH, but some of the case studies pertaining to sexual harassment and including misuse of these provisions of sexual harassment under other legislations. The first case is recently been decided by Delhi High Court. Here in this case, a woman officer files a sexual harassment complaint against a superior officer. Fine, matter goes to ICC. Now before ICC there is conciliation. Both the parties agree to a settlement. Okay, let's settle the issue. No problem. Matter gets closed. Complainant was unwilling to pursue the full-fledged inquiry. ICC concluded the proceedings, recorded the observation, but the observation was that the evidence was lacking. That was really not in the good taste, because if you are saying that there is a conciliation, you should not write in your report that evidence was lacking. But the report says the evidence is lacking. So the complainant objected to this, that what is this lack of evidence? If there is conciliation, don't say that there is lack of evidence, because the proceedings have concluded on the basis of mutual consent. There is a conciliation proceeding, but don't say the lack of evidence. He said, okay, open the inquiry. ICC refuses. Okay, we are not ready to open the inquiry. Now, subsequently, the company initiated departmental proceedings against the respondent. Now, against this order of the company initiating departmental proceedings against the respondent, now respondent approaches Delhi High Court by filing a writ petition. Now, the problem is that, Pawanji, you just asked, should there be sector-specific provisions? You know, the POSH provides for that there has to be confidentiality of the details of the complainant, the respondent, the complaint, the action taken, everything. But when it comes to a PSU, and in PSU's cases, again the order of the IC or again the order of the company, a petition can be preferred before the High Court. Now, if somebody goes to the High Court, I tell you, everything gets opened. Nothing remains secret, no confidentiality at all, because in the petition you write all the names. According to me, before the High Courts, all these proceedings should be in camera. These orders should not be made public, but unfortunately, these proceedings are not in camera. These orders are not are made open. They are open to public also. So entire whole objective of POSH goes. So in this case, now the respondent goes to High Court. I think there's some mismatch between Delhi and Guwahati High Court. Something wrong is there. The single bench observed that petition, the respondent challenged the same by filing a writ petition before the Guwahati High Court. And something wrong at my end. Anyway, ultimately, what High Court said, that POSH is a minimum protective legislation intended to ensure safe workplaces. So even though there was a complaint has concluded, but now company can initiate its own investigation, departmental proceedings against the respondent. So conclusion of the IC proceedings on the basis of some settlement or on the basis of conciliation does not mean that company cannot take disciplinary action against in the service rules against the accused. So this is the one case. This case I am skipping, because this does not deal with POSH. So that's I'm skipping it. NABARD case. A senior employee of the company NABARD, there are certain females in the organization, they keep on gossiping as per this particular person who videographed them. According to him, the certain females are there, keep on gossiping, giggling and singing. So male employee took a video of them. Now against this person, a complaint is preferred before ICC. ICC decided in this case that act of video recording did not amount to sexual harassment. However, it recommended reprimand action against the employee. And reprimand means premature retirement. Those were the orders of the company. Now again, because NABARD is again a PSU and a writ petition is preferred before the High Court. Now High Court holds that once the ICC has formed an opinion that the conduct of the petitioner did not constitute sexual harassment, company could not have recommended, or ICC could not have recommended any action to the company. ICC should have simply cleared the matter and dismissed the complaint, that's all. So therefore, on the basis of the complaint, the action of the company of reprimanding the employee and by making him, forcing him for compulsory retirement is not a right action taken by the company. Therefore, High Court quashed the order of the company and allowed the petition. This is a school case from Bombay High Court. Recently, it has been held that a teacher on probation engaged in constant messaging with a student after school hours. And these messages could amount to harassment. So therefore, the school management took an action and terminated the services of the teacher. High Court says that after the school has closed, this teacher has no right to enter to exchange the messages with the students, particularly those messages which are beyond the scope of the services of the teacher or the student-teacher relationship. Therefore, the action of the school of terminating the services of the teacher is absolutely perfect. Madras High Court has recently held that protecting women employees from sexual harassment in the workplace is a public duty. So even though you are in the private employer, protecting the women's employees from sexual harassment is a public duty. Now, I don't know whether somebody has covered the Maharashtra Women Commission or not. On March 1, 2026 only, Maharashtra State Women Commission has issued a statewide directive asking that all district collectors and divisional commissioners to conduct audit. Which audit? Audit of workplaces of sexual harassment mechanism in government, semi-government and private offices within 30 days. Simply to see whether the law is being complied in letter and spirit or not, whether IC is there in place or not, whether the complaints are being heard properly or not. So this audit is to be conducted and within 30 days, the report is to be submitted. The 30 days period is already over. I don't know whether a report has been submitted or not. Actually, why the government has taken this initiative? Because there are various complaints and reports highlighting serious shortcomings in the entire process. This is another case before Delhi High Court held recently only, was in newspapers also, 11th of March 2026. What has happened in this case? There is an Indigo flight from Delhi to Mumbai. There is one senior employee of PwC, though he has ultimately been called as partner also PwC. I'm taking the names because all these names are in public domain. So just half an hour before the flight lands at Mumbai, this PwC officer goes to sleep. और सोते सोते क्या उसकी गर्दन लटक गई एक तरफ towards that lady passenger, co-passenger, who is actually a freelancer journalist. Now this lady journalist raises an issue, create ruckus in the flight itself, ask the Indigo flight crew to give the details of that particular passenger, PwC officer. Indigo staff shares the boarding card with that lady. The moment flight lands, this lady makes this issue public. And within minutes, I tell you, this issue spreads like fire. And one of the celebrity from film industry, Richa Chadda, she also shares this news items and by writing, make him famous. And after 3 hours, after the flight has landed, now the complaint is filed before the police. Now this individual PwC employee goes to High Court and files a petition that when FIR has been filed on the basis of complaint after 3 hours, why during this 3 hours there has been name and shame? Why it has been made public and why others are also sharing it? And he has been defamed as molester. He says there is a trial by media. He said that suffers reputational harm which is prejudicial to fair trial. Now, Supreme Court decided that publication went beyond fair reporting and prematurely adjudicated, he has been adjudicated as guilty. Labeling the plaintiff as molester with photograph constitute prima facie defamation. Social media disclosure before FIR indicates sensationalization and over hasty conduct. Court further holds that such act amounts to trial by media violating right to reputation and right to fair trial. Public figures have a heightened duty of care. Amplification of unverified allegation, it leads to digital vigilantism. Pawan ji, aap jo AI ka use पूछ रहे थे ना, court has considered that. Court has directed defendants should be restrained. Defendants should be restrained from publishing similar defamatory content. Social media platform directed to take down impugned posts, including reposts. And court further holds that freedom to speech does not extend to declaring guilt. Media must report facts with restraint and avoid prejudicing ongoing investigation on harming reputation. Now, this is the last case from my side, shared in the public media on 1st of January 2026. This pertains to Google. Here, a Google female employee has claimed that she was made redundant after she reported to her manager, because as you know, one day this Google employee was sitting with one of the clients, and the client told him that one of your manager is sharing some information about him and about his wife, that both of us are swingers. He is showing some obscene photographs also. The other day, the other party comes to her and says that this particular individual, this particular officer, manager, is actually showing some vague photos, some obscene photos of his wife also. Because he claims that both of us are into this business. So therefore, this lady files a complaint to her officer, her seniors. Google starts investigation. But the manager says, no, sorry, I'm not guilty. But there was too much publicity against Google. Google sacked this particular manager. But sacking is a separate issue, no problem. After the sacking, the Google, the company, as per the complainant, the complainant said, I was made redundant. All my present assignments were taken away from him, and least important assignments were given to me. And after that, I was asked to sit at home, take sick leave, and I will be paid full salary. So therefore, a vigilant employee, the person who has been who has been the whistleblower in the company, according to the complainant, has been made redundant and by the company called Google. So actually, this is not in good taste. Now, what actually will happen ultimately later on with respect to the complaint of this lady, whether she was made redundant or not. But it raises many alarms whether one should be a whistleblower or not, unless you are a victim, unless you are by being a victim, you are a complainant. Here, she was not victim, but she just passed on the messages she received, passed on the allegations she received from other against her own manager. And because of that, manager has been sacked and she has been made redundant. These are some of the case studies, Pawanji. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Madan. Thank you. I have 27 questions. So please tighten your belt, everybody, and yes and no question only. Okay. Please guide how to register a nodal officer on CBOX portal. Tanika madam. Unmute yourself, please.
So whenever the SheBox portal is, whenever it is written over there, that SheBox portal, so there is the front page, home page. Under there is a provision of registration of nodal officer. So on that, the person can click and fill in the details. So
And the company also do like this?
yes, companies can also do like that.
Okay. Who is the nodal officer in respect of an establishment office?
There is, when we talk about nodal officer establishment of office, basically it is the internal committee, HR, when we talk about the private organizations. So anyone from the HR department or a legal person, a person who is having some legal knowledge, they can be the nodal officer.
If we enter a particular ID at one place on the portal, we are unable to use the ID anywhere else on the portal. Example, my presiding officer is same for both workplace, but the same email ID cannot be entered for both workplace for the presiding officer while uploading IC detail on the portal.
So if there is, should I answer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because these are the questions which you have to, I will send it to you also.
Okay.
So you can just correct it through your system.
Fine. So the thing is, whenever there is, I'll say there is one big organization which is having its subsidiaries. So the main registered office needs to have one nodal officer. What is the responsibility of that nodal officer? What he will do is he'll make sure that all the subsidiary companies are separately registered as IC on the portal. But all the details of the respective ICs should be different. That's why they must not be able to register themselves on the portal.
Okay. Whether company who has employee consists of officer, staff, and factory worker must have two committees. Jyoti madam, can you guide us on this?
Yes, they need to have two committees because under the law, every unit with 10 or more employees has to have their own
Okay.
IC.
Harmeet madam, does all branches of company require to be registered on CBOX or just corporate registered office is sufficient?
All offices, all branches, law is very clear on that, and some people are taking shortcuts which now won't be possible with SheBox. They won't
Because this problem can come anywhere, so that's right.
at all the offices,
Yeah.
whether they have those many people or not.
Okay. Can an organization or corporate company create a CBOX similar to the one established by the NCWD?
So they're saying that they can have an internal SheBox portal sort of thing. That is completely their discretion if they want to have that. But yes, they cannot just get rid of getting themselves registered on SheBox, or they cannot say that we don't want to constitute a IC. They need to just abide by the law. Other than that, whatever things they want to take up, they can do that.
Okay. Okay.
पवन जी यहाँ पे मेरा एक सजेशन ये भी रहेगा that even Ministry of Corporate Affairs should also come forward as far with respect to the companies that whenever you write in the board report whether IC or not, even the compliances with respect to SheBox should also be there in the board report.
Yeah. This point we have discussed, and the point has come in first. Let this should be popularized. If the registration is carried out using a presiding officer's email ID, which is also used, I think this answer we have given. Adding to my previous question, is CBOX registration mandatory for private companies when they already have a IC in place? I understand that there are state-wise guidelines, but this is not mandatory requirement.
Yes, this is not yet been made mandatory by the law. It does not have legal enforcement except for the states where the state governments have specifically mandated that. Like Tamil Nadu has its own She portal inside. They call it T portal. So the state governments have taken initiatives already, and the states where it has been made mandatory, it is mandatory. But the Central POSH Act and the MC, I think Ministry of Women and Child Development, they have not yet made it.
Okay. Whether it is mandatory for the complaint to submit the complaint first to CBOX, or can it complaint directly submit a written complaint to IC constituted by company? Alka
So
madam.
they can submit the complaint to the IC. They can submit the complaint on the SheBox portal. Simultaneously, they can file the complaint before the police authorities also, as it is a criminal offense also.
Okay. Have registered IC from coming financial year, we can submit report on CBOX?
It is not mandatory, but if they wish to disclose, then yes, it will add value to their disclosures only.
Okay. Yeah. You want to say something? Okay. If we enter a particular ID at one place or portal, we are unable to. I think this person is asking the same question.
Actually, yes, I want to mention one point here. Yes, there is some glitch in SheBox portal also. People are finding it difficult to enter their credentials. They themselves have got themselves registered there. But yes, they are finding it difficult to log in. There is an issue in login, I would admit that. But it has been said that sometimes you get a mail in your spam. तो आप spam में से अपने login identity credentials ले सकते हैं, refresh करेंगे पेज को. तो it depends upon the page also. कभी कभी वो बहुत down होता है, तो it is the issue which people are facing.
Adds it,
Pamela, एक मिनट, Pamela, मेरी request है 6:15 खत्म कर देना. 2 our esteemed panelists will be leaving at 6:15. So let's be very, very crisp.
Okay, no, so no counter question now. Okay,
Yes.
what will be the punishment as per POSH Act relating to C box not following?
No punishment is there.
POSH
Okay.
Act has not yet recognized She-Box.
Okay. We have filed the registration as C-Box portal in December 25, but we have not yet received any kind of confirmation of login detail from the department. Can you please suggest a way out for this, madam?
Yeah, you can check your spam or you can just drop a mail to MWCD. There is a
Okay.
provision there.
Okay.
And
We
for
have-
most of the
yeah.
times, this does not work, sir. There is a practical solution to this. They can visit the local DM's office and then they verify, because there is a process of verification in between, and then
Yes.
only the login ID is created. It is
Okay.
not only a technical problem. It has
We
to be
have-
done.
Okay, we have IC for all but one office, as it has been 10 employee. If there is a complaint in C-Box with regard to that office, where will it be forwarded to? LC or HOIC or company? Alka madam and Jyoti madam, anybody can give answer.
Alka madam is leaving.
I think they wish to leave and they have some other engagement.
Okay, so anybody can, Tunika madam and
I'll
Harmeet.
respond to this. So, if you don't have the IC for that particular unit, it will go to the local committee. However, if the complaint is against the head or the employer, then the local committee will take it. Otherwise, they will actually go and tell that particular unit to formulate an IC and then handle the redressal.
Okay. I'm unable to register on a portal for IC of a company. Which icon is to be used?
We
Tunika madam.
use it in the initial with presentation only. We can share that presentation over here also. They can go there and register the complaint.
Okay, we can share it. Yeah.
Yes.
Second question for companies registration on C-Box portal, the company's nodal officer is to be appointed. Is there any option available on C-Box portal to change the company's nodal officer at subsequent point of time?
Yes, the details of the nodal officer as well as the members of IC can be changed on She-Box portal.
Okay. My company has one central IC and 3 unit level IC. Do I need to register separately for all 3-4 ICs, or only one registration company wise is required? And inside that all location can be covered.
As Harmeet ma'am said, separate registration should be done of all the subsidiary companies.
Okay. What is the role of NCWD in creating awareness among poor, underprivileged, women working in rural area and unorganized sector?
We have been doing many awareness program in consultation and in collaboration with the local committees at the district level, wherein ASHA workers and the Anganwadi workers are pitched in to create awareness.
Okay.
I'm witness to all this.
Okay. Whether nodal officer of the company under POSH is the presiding officer of IC?
No, nodal officer cannot be presiding officer in any way.
Okay. Is there any communication at district level regarding the nodal officer or district officer?
Yes, with the district magistrate or the district officer who is the head of the district, he's aware of like who is the state nodal officer or the district nodal officer.
Okay. Rapid round has converted to buzzer round. Huh? Is there any communication at district level regarding the nodal officer or district officer?
This is the same question which we have covered. The district magistrate or the subdivision magistrate is aware of who is
How do we know who is the nodal officer?
Just go on the website of She-Box portal. There, the list of all the district level officers and all the district level officers is there.
Okay. Whether the company who has employees consist of office staff and factory worker required to have 2 separate IC committee?
Answered. It is answered. It was
Okay.
answered earlier back.
Yes. If we have presence in the multiple location and with less than 20 employee count, then do we need to register all
Yes,
the
yes.
locations?
Separate ICs.
Answer
Separate
is yes.
ICs.
Multiple,
Up to
if there is a
Pawan ji ko bhi
multiple
pata lag gaya,
office,
answer is
multiple
yes.
places, working factory, this, everywhere you have to do this. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Every branch office of require, yes, separate.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I have multiple workplace and have separate. Yes. Okay. In continuing to my previous question, if 2 separate IC committee require for workers and staff, but it is one plant as office and factories attached and it is the same place. ठीक?
So it
Then
can
have one.
then yeah. In that case, it can have.
One IC
Yeah.
would do.
If there is a no woman employee, then how should I or organization ensure
POSH compliance to
yeah.
foster a culture of safety. So if there is no women, first of all, IC should be there. 10 से कम लोग हैं, चाहे 10 के 10 पुरुष एम्प्लॉयज हैं तो भी आईसी होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि हमने बात करी थी कि अगर कोई विजिटर भी आता है, कोई महिला होती है, उसके साथ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट होता है, तो वो मैटर टेकअप किया जाएगा। तो वहां पे पॉश कंप्लायंस के लिए यही है कि जो हमारे बुलेटिन बोर्ड्स पे है, उसके उस पे पॉश की जो भी डिटेल्स हैं, क्या सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट होता है, कौन हमारे आईसी के मेंबर्स हैं, दैट ऑल शुड बी अफेक्टेड ऑन द बुलेटिन बोर्ड्स, और जगह जगह पे वो लगा देना चाहिए।
बट
सो इन दिस वे
तुनिका जी इसमें इशू एक है कि आईसी के मेंबर्स कौन होंगे,
आईसी के मेंबर्स कौन?
क्योंकि
Okay,
वहाँ पे
now
women
I
नहीं
have
होंगे।
I have a company where no female employee is coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Female
saying.
visitor is allowed.
So
Even
sir,
there
if we have like अगर किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की सब्सिडरी कंपनीज है, वहां पे अगर फीमेल ऑफिसर है, तो वहां से द प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर कैन बी should be a woman, so the person can be picked up from that department. Else we can connect with the district officer and seek his assistant कि भाई हमारे यहाँ तो कोई भी महिला नहीं है और हमारी अकेली ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तो अब हमें एक प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर दे दीजिए, तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर विल पिच इन। या
So some
tell
companies
me, I don't have any female, but I'm going down the road and shadowing somebody. So it means that can make a complaint, and
yes.
she's not the employee of the company. She's not a visitor, nothing else.
So then she can go to LC. If it is not a workplace and she is not under the working hours or doing the that walk on behalf of the company.
So working hours is a very tough question. Even after working hours, you can.
Yes, but if you are in official capacity, रात को 9 से 10 बजे बारबेक्यू में जाके पूरी ऑफिस की टीम जाके बैठी है, वहां पे किसी ने किसी को टच कर दिया, वर्किंग आवर्स नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑफिस तो 5 बजे खत्म हो जाता है, बट इट हैज बीन डन इन ऑफिशियल कैपेसिटी, सो यस इट विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ।
Okay.
तुनिका एक चीज बताओ, अगर कोई फीमेल एम्प्लॉय नहीं है, आईसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करनी है, इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग टू डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिस, कांट आई हैव तुनिका एंड हरमीत एज मेंबर्स ऑफ माय आईसी?
नो, वी कैन हैव 3। yes Amit.
The external member is being appointed as a presiding officer in most
That's
of the.
okay, but in my office I don't have any female employee. I need to constitute IC.
So you
No, Madan, anybody can come to your office and you can do, somebody can come, gig worker can come to your office also. The supply Zomato wala has come to you.
नहीं ये different, मेरा different question है।
सर कह रहे हैं कि आईसी में कौन होगा आपका?
Yes.
प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर कहते हैं सीनियर मोस्ट फीमेल मेंबर होनी चाहिए, लेकिन आपके यहाँ कोई सीनियर मोस्ट फीमेल मेंबर है ही नहीं है। लेकिन
फीमेल ही नहीं है, मैं कह रहा हूँ फीमेल ही
नहीं है, तो आप क्या करेंगे? आपकी अगर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के सब्सिडरी पार्ट्स हैं, वहां से आप किसी फीमेल
सब्सिडरी नहीं है, कोई सब्सिडरी, कोई होल्डिंग, कोई एसोसिएशन,
then we can connect with the district officer or the district magistrate, and then we can pitch in।
यही तो डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर की जगह अगर मैं प्रोफेशनल्स लाइक यू पीपल अगर मैं रख लूं, एंगेज कर लूं, तो क्या बुराई है उसमें?
सर सारे एक्सटर्नल मेंबर्स नहीं हो सकते, only one person has to be the external
ऑफिसर में तो बाहर का है। एनीवे चलो पवन जी कैरी ऑन प्लीज।
Okay, last question. If there is no woman employee, then how should organization ensure post compliance to foster a culture of safety? That I think
This was taken, yes.
So in continuing to my previous question, if two separate IC required for worker, that answer is already given.
Yes.
So false complaint we have connected. Any connection with Me Too movement with this She-Box?
सर मी टू मूवमेंट में बहुत सारी महिलाएं, आई हैव अ सबमिशन कि बहुत महिलाएं बहुत सालों बाद आई थी। पॉश एक्ट हैज अ टाइमलाइन ऑफ मैक्सिमम 6 months, इनिशियली 3 महीने, उसके बाद 3 महीने और। तो मी टू मूवमेंट में तो ये हुआ था कि लोग 10-10 साल बाद आके बोल रहे थे कि हमारे साथ उस वक्त ये हुआ था। तो यस वी कैन से कि सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट था, बट इन अ वेरी लेटर स्टेज, तो लॉ ने उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया था। हरमीत मैम, इफ यू हैव एनी सबमिशन इन दैट रिलेटेड।
वैसे भी is broader than this. Me Too was not necessarily workplace complaints.
Yes, they were outside that also.
Related to the workplaces only, but यहाँ पे She-Box is purely related to workplace. But I must say, workplace is so wide. People are not aware.
No, not aware of, yes.
And workplace, they are so wide.
Okay. So we have covered these questions also, 29 questions. And 40 questions we were having earlier. So mean the traction is very good. So it's a time to close because we have already exceeded time. And because of the paucity of time, our two speakers, they have to go. So now I'm closing this. So before closing, I will start with Harmeet. Your comments on this particular topic and with 30 seconds. Then Madan sir, then our superstar, Tunika Sharma madam.
Topic has been exemplary. The choice of She-Box has been very technical. People are not aware of POSH Act implementation, what to say about She-Box. But I'm sure today people must have learned so much from Tunika ji. And POSH is a culture. It has to be reinforced. simply making a law and telling people about it won't
Yes.
work. Sessions like these would work.
It
It's a
could
change
be
in the
required item, not
required.
provision only.
Retaliation, filing a complaint, stigma attached to
Vision.
it, personality. These are so very important issues, and these can only be covered by talking and listening to such people who can reinforce them again and again.
Okay. So, Madan sir,
I'll say the same thing which I said in the beginning. Sexual harassment of any gender by the other gender, a big no. If happens, punish them, severe punishment. However, there should be adequate provision to safeguard the misuse or abuse of the provisions of that law. And in addition, there is a dire need of advocacy of provisions of this particular legislation.
okay.
Such sessions are very much required.
Okay. Tunika madam, your last word.
Sir, I would like to say that intensity of the act must not be considered that it is very menial, बहुत छोटा सा act है, क्या ही से report करें, कोई सुनेगा भी क्या नहीं सुनेगा, मेरी confidentiality का क्या, मैं काम कर पाऊंगी नहीं कर पाऊंगी. These all things should not be taken into consideration by the women who have been facing sexual harassment. And yes, the IC and the local internal committee and the local committee should be very transparent while dealing with sexual harassment complaints. And yes, SheBox is going to take time to come in coordination with the act with these things. But yes, I believe that this should be reported properly, and proper action should also be taken within due course of time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Madan, Harmeet madam, Tunika madam, Jyoti madam, and Alka madam. It was very informative, excellent, to the point, buzzer round, as well as the rapid round. All were there, and multiple questions, and lots of people have come to attend this. It shows that this is a one topic which is taking slowly traction in the industry. No doubt, when we talk about the ESG corporate governance, and this area is not untouched, because you have to take care of this. If your workplace is not safe, then how can you talk about the governance? So, in my opinion, as a governance professional, I always preferred that whatever we are doing, is it required for making something effective, implementable, and most important thing is that something should be good for society, for corporate world, and for entire. In our Shastra, we respect Devi. In our entire system, I think in entire world, I was studying that people got voting power long after so many years, and we were worshipping the lady or the Ma Durga and Sita and everybody since long. So it shows that what respect we had. Now in between, something has created a havoc, and we have to pull this particular thing by implementing law. This topic was very interesting and very nicely covered. I thank every my panelist and my participant who has come and attended. For all participants, we will send the presentation to you. All questions we have prepared, all the confusion issues, I will send Tunika madam to you so you can tell them. So we will divide into two parts. One is the technical part and one is the legal part where is a interpretational issue.
Yes,
So
sir.
my suggestion is like SEBI is doing, they do FAQ. Okay. So same type of thing, all these questions which are coming, if you can put FAQ on the system, it will be very useful and helpful.
Sure,
Okay.
sir, I'll do that.
So thank you very much to all,
Thank
and
you so much.
this knowledge sharing session will continue. So our next 260th webinar, we'll meet again, and Madan sir is the face of that web program, then IBC Amendment Act
Okay.
bill that has come. So we will discuss. So
Harmeet is also insolvency professional, a
Yeah.
very renowned insolvency professional.
okay, so till then, next Friday we'll meet, and Tunika madam and Harmeet madam and Alka madam and Jyoti madam, We will organize after some time the POSH and CBOX combined program, and we will create awareness. Until then, thank you very much to all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.